Hi, we are live. Yes.
Hey, how's
And
everybody?
take a look at this. We have a bunch of ambassadors with us today. This is so exciting. We're going to get some really, really good tips and strategy and knowledge today. So, we're going to continue with the Build a Business series, which we've been doing all this week. And we also did another version actually about 2 weeks ago. And what we're doing is we're taking a fictitious avatar. We call her Susan. Susan has dove into the world of ClickFunnels, and she's been getting pretty good at it. She started offering some services in a couple of weeks ago when we started building her original business. Now this week, she's actually gotten really good at helping other people with his account, and now she's building an agency. So we're really excited today. I have Danny and Carlos with us today. Danny is a super ambassador. Carlos has been with ClickFunnels for a very, very long time. We also have James and Dan, who are also ambassadors, and we're so happy to have you guys. So,
Hey,
Danny, what are we going to talk about today?
hey everybody. So we just to recap, we started off this week, like you said, Andy, where Susan's back in the office and she's like, "Whoa, I've been building these funnels and this linchpin thing that James showed me has really been working, and I really want to take this further, and I want to build lots of funnels for lots of people because people like are banging on the door, right? They're super excited about the work that I've done and things that I've shared, but I need to be able to scale this thing. And I've been doing my research and looking things up, and I've realized that the done thing is to kind of create like an agency, like a funnel agency. And we was like, look, that might be a good move, but there's also potentially some pitfalls. And we brought in Andrea and Susan on Monday, our ClickFunnels Susan. We don't want to confuse the two people, right? But we got some great advice on what type of agency you could potentially be. And we talked a lot about how you might position yourself so that you're able to serve your clients at the highest level without saying yes to everything. Right? The last thing you want to do is just say, "Hey, yes, we do everything," and then you realize you're working with maybe the wrong folks, or you can't do what you specialize in. So we've kind of set the scene. We've looked at different agency models. And yesterday we talked a lot more about that. How do we position ourselves? And we looked at also the concept of keeping our acquisition funnels, the way that we bring customers into the business, separate from some of our strategic stuff, which maybe we want to display on a funnel hub. And Susan's got loads and loads of different ideas, and she's super excited now. And she's kind of made the decision, yes, I'm going to go with this, and I want to start bringing clients on. Right. So this is kind of where we're at right now. So what we want to look at is how do we, yes, we've got people knocking on the door, right? There's people who are excited about what Susan's doing, but there's a big wide ocean out there, right? There's a big bunch of people out there who could be potential clients. Susan understands that she has got to be kind of focused in the beginning, and she's going to expand the service as she moves. And she knows that she is going to have to practice what she preaches a little bit and go out there and acquire some people, right? So where and how do we get some clients into our agency, and how does ClickFunnels help us to do that? Because there's not just a software, right? We've got things like the certification program, we've got the marketplace, so we want to look at some of that stuff, and we also want to look at how do we actually onboard our clients. And if they come on board and you're like, well, look, this service is going to cost you, 10 grand, 20 grand, 30 grand, whatever the price is, these people might be like, whoa, I could get this cheaper, or maybe I should shop around a little bit. How would you handle those objections so that you make sure that you're bringing on clients, you're closing the deal, and you're able to move forward and do that in a way that's good for you? Talk a little bit about the funnels themselves, some stuff around the cookbook, and then we're kind of coming to the end of the show, right? So there's a few points on the screen, and this discussion can kind of take the turns that it needs to get to the point, because I know we've got a lot of experience in the room today, folks who work with clients, folks who build funnels, and it's really, I think, useful, Andy, just for you to throw this out to the room, bringing Dan, James, Carlos, and maybe we'll just get started straight away. Is like, where do we find these people, right? So if you've got your agency, you know this is right for you, and you've done some good quality work. how do you make sure that you've got clients coming in on a regular basis, right? That would be my question, and that's certainly what Susan wants to know. So if we take this off so we can see everybody, I'm happy to get straight into it. And James is already brandishing a piece of equipment down there. What have you got down there, buddy?
Secret number 2. Where are they hiding? The Dream 100. If you want to get the people, you got to know where they are. And then you do this. You go fishing.
We like fishing, right?
You'll put out hooks. I mean, the way I think about it is like, find out which groups that they're in. Groups are so good because there's this bi-directional communication. If you're just on someone's Instagram page, it's a little bit tougher. But the sort of question and answer ability of the participants of the group or a membership or whatever makes it so you can find people that are having problems. You can give love. You can answer the question and kind of raise your status within that group. But then you can also put out different value posts that get people interested in you, and then they end up going on your profile and seeing, oh, this person does this for real, and then they go to your website and they get your free thing or your application or whatever. We'll talk about that, but I think the biggest thing is know where your dream clients are and go there.
So you've just shown something straight away, and Susan's like, whoa, that's a lot. What on earth is the Dream 100, and how do our agency folks leverage this?
Well, the Dream 100, your dream clients exist, right? Like traffic is not a hose of Facebook ads. It's a place. Your dream clients are congregating in a certain area, right? Already, right? They're already existing with some other guru or some interest group, like we talked before about Susan being really into photography, macro photography specifically, right? So there's some group where all the macro photography nerds are getting together and talking about macro photography stuff. Those are your clients. And if those people, some subset of that population is going to want to make money with it online. They're not just doing it for a hobby. And some subset of them is going to want to pay you to do it for them. So you just kind of go make yourself known where everyone is and add value, and eventually they're going to just come to you.
That seems like a real, quick and easy funnel as well, right? Because you didn't even build a page if you're going to go and do some value in a group. It's and get people recognize you and they come towards you. What's your take, Dan, on this from experience?
Well, over the weekend, there was somebody who's one of Russell's most successful clients had a little bit of a webinar and gave away some content and stuff. And I've been consuming some of it. I don't know if I should say his name or not. He's a very well-known name in our community for sure. But one of the things he was saying is, as you're getting in front of these people, you have to have something to attract them with. And you have to have something to be able to give them. We generally call that a lead magnet. But your customer doesn't know that. So we're putting something out there. How can we help these people? How can we give them results in advance is really what it is. Because as soon as somebody sees you an expert in one thing, they're going to see you an expert in everything. And so one of the things that this guy says in his training is pick a very niche topic and teach them everything they need to know to solve that one little teeny tiny problem. Because as soon as you solve that problem, another problem is going to come up. And who are they going to turn to? They're going to turn to you because you just solved their first problem. They're going to see you as an expert, and they're going to see you as somebody who can solve the problem for them. So right before this call, I was thinking, okay, great. What is a really good example of that? And it made me think of, this is probably 5 years ago now, when Dan Henry, the very first thing I ever saw from him, I mean, I swear to God, he was in high school at the time, probably. But the very first thing I saw from him was a thing called Pixel Hero. And that just popped into my head. And I thought, talk about fixing a minute problem for somebody. How do you set up your Facebook pixel? Well, first I'll set it up in Facebook and then be able to put it onto your site. And then what do you do with it? That was it. That was his training. It was hey, get this free video and I'll show you how to set up your pixel. So he fixed that one little teeny tiny problem for you, and now he's gone on to whatever kind of success he's had, just massive amounts of success. But that's where he started, was fixing that one little teeny tiny problem. And so if you can find the market who is interested in that, people who are building websites, who want to be able to pixel their customers so they can retarget them, put that in front of them, and you will build an empire.
Yeah. That's really good, and I'm sure we the name is all over, right? Alex or Moses course and whatnot. It's great. Like I've been like also putting that in the background while I work, and it's amazing. So over there, yeah, you can do that and be super. For example, like Jan was saying, you help them with the first problem they will encounter. So let's say you're a funnel agency. Why don't you give them a funnel template, right? So because you can, first and foremost, you can be a ClickFunnels affiliate, and then giving away stuff can make you money already, right? Because if you give someone away a template, and you're an affiliate, it's hard code. Your affiliate link, it's hard coded there. So then they will create an account. They will fall under your affiliate link, and you will start generating commissions as long as they remain customers. So how to make them remain customers? Okay, I can help you set up your. That's the next logical step, right? Because when we are in the software, let's say, oh, we get proficient at it, we start to, okay, we beat the learning curve, right? That can be sometimes a little bit steep, and that's where we are. So we are at 80% in the learning curve. We can help whoever is from 79 down, right? We can help them get there where we are, and then when we conquer the mountain, we can help them get to the top, right? So getting to the top in this case would be, okay, I can help you set up your funnel, and then what they may want afterwards. They may want traffic. They may want marketing strategy, which is totally different than just setting up a funnel, right? They might need copy. They might need, a members area, and like Dan and Susan and Andrea have like the customer experience part. All that involves like having a complete business to launch, and yeah, maybe that's what they need help with. Yeah.
It's definitely making me think, and Susan's in our office now like, whoa, yeah, because I've kind of done a bit of this, and I'm out there in the groups and people are recognizing me, and I think now what she's saying is, look, I'm going to start to identify who are my list of people who I actually want to do work for, and be more prominent in those areas of the internet, so I'm more obvious to these guys. But also I am really going to focus on that specific thing that I know will then lead into the next problem, which leads into the next problem. And before you know it, you are doing everything that Carlos just mentioned. You're doing the copy, you're doing the ads, you're doing all these things, but you can't do all that at once. And as she builds the team, or like the band, as we said yesterday, you don't play the drums, the guitar, sing at the front. You've got different people doing different roles. And when you bring those specialisms together inside of your agency, you will be able to offer a wider spectrum of things as you move forward. In the first instance, it's almost like, for anybody watching this, and for Susan certainly sat here now, it's like, guys, I get this, right? I know exactly where I need to be. But where does ClickFunnels, and we mentioned the affiliate thing, and it's handy because we are going to be doing this in a few weeks' time, looking at the affiliate thing in detail, affiliate funnels, and how to sell ClickFunnels as an affiliate, and we've got some stuff planned for that. But how does ClickFunnels itself give you not only the software, but some other mechanisms to then get in front of your dream clients and ultimately serve these guys at the highest level? And I know we do have a few things that I know James, Dan, Carlos, you've got insight into as well. Andy, we sort of live and breathe this stuff right behind the scenes, but we do have some amazing things within ClickFunnels programs of education and means to get in front of dream clients. And we've got certification program, we've got 2 Comma Club coaching, we've got the marketplace. And I think it'd be really cool to kind of talk a little bit about this and share some insights, some experience, and some of the reasons why, you know, it might make sense for an agency that's using ClickFunnels to kind of get involved with some of this stuff. What's the thoughts in the room? And we can kind of go around again, I guess, right?
Yeah. So everything is a funnel, right? There's funnels everywhere. Even though you may not go to an actual page or click a link, funnels are everywhere. And another way that, you know, I love all of the different suggestions that James and Dan gave us, where you're just helping people. You go to a place where, you know, the people that you want to help out are there. They're hanging out. You make friends and you help them. That's almost like giving a free download, right? When you post a video somewhere and you teach people how to do something, that's almost like giving a free download. It's having your presence on social media, YouTube, things like that. And when you invite people to contact you, you know, at the end of your video, you say, hey, if you have any other questions, go ahead and reach out to me. That's always something you can do. But you mentioned the marketplace, Danny. And I think it would be cool for us to take a look at it in just a second. But before we do that, I think from what I can see, there's a lot of experts in the marketplace that have, it's almost like they set up their funnel because they sell a smaller, you know, some type of service at a lower cost, like $30, right? Or $100, even $500. And that's the way that they make contact with you. That's the way they start the relationship with you. And then later they know that if you need help, if you have some questions and you had a good relationship, they're going to come back to you. So let me go ahead and share my screen here, just so we can take a look at the marketplace. Oh, I have too many windows open. Oh my goodness.
And I think while you're bringing that up, Andy, I think James, I know you was going to come in with sort of your experience, because you use these mechanisms, right? And you're involved in the sort of like the deeper in ClickFunnels. And Susan's right now, she's built a few funnels, she's got an account, she's not really signing people up under the affiliate link just now. What's your sort of thoughts around that while Andy brings up the...
Well, I think the marketplace is awesome. The direction where I thought we were going to go was into the certification, and I wanted to sort of vouch for that. So maybe we can just table that for later and talk about the marketplace. But I'm going to echo what Andy just said. That like that's definitely a way to do it is offer like a funnel strategy session for a lower amount. And then what I typically do for mine is then like I'll offer the strategy. I deliver like a map, an actual Garu like chart. And then if they decide to have me build the funnel for them, then I'll just like wipe out that initial charge from the initial consultation, include that, kind of roll that into the funnel build. So there's no risk.
Yeah. And I think coming back to certification program will be super important, because a lot of the guys on here are certified, but I don't think you need to be certified in order to leverage this platform. It is... We've just been chatting about it before we came on live, Andy, right? And it is an awesome mechanism that's provided via ClickFunnels for people to go out there and position. And just like Dan said, you could be very specific on here with, like you said, a lower cost product that specifically tackles, you know, you can see some people are just doing like design elements or a basic funnel or whatever it is. And then that naturally leads into the bigger work. Is this the be all and end all, or do you need this and Facebook groups, or do you need to be running a big bunch of stuff? Susan's like, well, where do I go from here?
I think that this marketplace is awesome, but just like any sort of traffic source, you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket. You do want to diversify. And if it's not your own group, just have some other way of interacting, so that should say this goes down for some reason, you know, then your traffic source has gone down. Like when I got my Facebook account locked out for a few weeks, and that really hampered my ability to communicate to my audience, you know. So if I didn't have other ways of doing that, then I'd kind of be screwed. So I'd say lean into this. This is a fantastic way to do it. The rating system is good. It is, you know, done by ClickFunnels. In the group, we often recommend people go to the marketplace because there are so many certified funnel builders and top-notch people. But as an agency owner, I'd say do this and some other things.
Yeah, you can actually, generate traffic organically, which is what we talked about, putting out content, giving out free stuff, and then you can package that free stuff and drive traffic to your lead funnel for your agency, not your funnel hub. You will drive traffic to a specific page that has a specific call to action, and it is to start the conversation, right? How do we start the conversation? Put in your email, name and email address, maybe a phone number, and then we can, start talking. Get this for that, right? With Brook Wall, right? And then you can drive traffic, you either paid or organic with your profile to that page, and then you show them your funnel hub after they sign up in your lead page, right? So you do that, you complement that with the funnel builder marketplace, and now you have 3 places where you can find your customers. And the Dream 100 customers, if you're a funnel builder, they will be on the funnel builder marketplace, right? So you start working your way up in the ratings. You get, for example, Lee, who works there. I'm always coming back to Lee, but he will give you a recommendation. If you click on the red button, you fill out a form, he will put you in contact with someone who is in your budget range, who is vetted, who has been rated well, or maybe who is just starting but is in your budget range, right? So that's how.
Well, the one
It's
thing I was going to
definitely-
add to all that was, and Andy brought it up again about creating content and putting it out there, because again, any content you put out there, if it's helpful to people, if they get something out of it, if you teach them how to do something, whether it's, a micro niche, like I was talking about Dan Henry, or something even broader, once you teach that to them, they see your expertise, they see your skill, they see your competence, and inevitably they're going to reach out and say, can you help me? Now they're going to reach out. They can reach out through the marketplace. They can just DM you on Facebook. They can find you on TikTok, wherever it is you are putting out your content to help these people with. That's where they're going to reach out to you. But if they see you in the marketplace, and then they see you on Facebook, and then they see you on YouTube, and they see in all these different places that you're helping all these people, they're going to naturally reach out to you. When I was in the mortgage business, I marketed exclusively, well, I shouldn't say exclusively, 90% of my marketing effort went towards attorneys. And the reason why is if I could convince attorneys that I was the best person to be able to help their client, they would hand their client my business card. When that client called me, they would say, oh, hey, Dan, so-and-so attorney told me to call you. All I was do is I go, oh, that's great. He's a great guy. How can I help? And they would just spill their guts, because there was no selling involved at that point. It was already done, because they saw me as being the skilled person, the competent person, the one that was going to get them out of their bankruptcy or foreclosure or tax liens or whatever problems they were having, because that's where I worked, in that area. And so it was a laydown, because they already saw how good I was. And that's part of what putting stuff out onto the internet is about. Now, there's some people who are just 100% hype, and they're on TikTok and they're dancing and shaking things around. But then there's also the people who actually give you good information, and eventually you say, hey, I think this person can help me. And they reach out to you. And then it's no longer selling. Then it's just serving. Then it's just taking care of them and getting it done.
And it's a beautiful place when you get to the point in your business where you're just working off of referrals. Oh my goodness, referrals are the best thing ever, because they don't cost you anything. You just maintain relationships with current customers, and the referrals just keep coming in. It is great. So I'm glad that you mentioned that, Dan. Now, I know, James, that you mentioned about the certification in the marketplace. I'm curious, what did you want to talk about? I would love to hear what, first of all, tell us how the certification works in the marketplace.
Well, certification and marketplace are two discrete things. They just happen to have a bridge that was built and added somewhat recently, where if you sign up for the ClickFunnels Certified Funnel Builder certification and you acquire one or more certifications, there is a third-party accrediting system that the Funnel Builder Marketplace links to. So as you get awarded certifications, they show up on your profile, the specific certifications that you've achieved. So it gives potential customers sort of like, it increases your know, like, and trust factor when it's like, okay, Russell's put together this material, and I'd like to talk about the material later on, but Russell's put together this material with Ben and some of the other people, Greg, and I trust them. These people have come up through that system, so therefore I trust these people. I'm willing to have this conversation and see if we're a good match.
It totally makes sense, right? And we talked a lot about positioning and getting into the right position. So you're out there helping a big bunch of folks in relevant groups. You're not doing anything crazy or behind the scenes, anything that looks dodgy. You're being recognized as somebody that's super helpful. You're on the marketplace, you're on YouTube, you've got really good value dropping in groups. That might be all it takes, right? But then you might have stuff going on TikTok or Reels or things on Instagram or whatever it is. And people everywhere they look, it's like, hey, there's Mr. Lynchpin. Hey, there's Dan Havey. He's really helpful. So the amount of people who've come up in the comments and thanked Dan for all the work he does, or mentioned James for being specific in looking after folks who are building out the linchpin funnels, right? And you see this happen all the time. I'm grateful that I get messages on a regular basis. Danny, somebody's recommended that we speak to you. Can you help? And I'm just like, yeah, there's a solution for what you need right now. Or if you realize, hey, maybe this could be something more, I can have that conversation, and then I can get a client. And you get to the point where you can get clients, or you can just carry on helping people. You can make the decisions that are right for you and your business. And you know that you're never going to have to worry about, oh man, I need to go and find $1,000 for this, or I need to go and find X amount of money for this thing. It's like your agency is now working for you because you're positioned in the right places. And sometimes it might seem tough when you're starting out, but it does come down to consistency, right, guys? And being consistent. And, we can all take a little bit of time off from that, and our organic content's always working for us out there in groups and in these different places. But I think from what we're saying right now is, if we are in the right places, in the right positions, delivering the value, delivering the content, being super helpful, that people are going to find out about it naturally and start to approach you. Is kind of like where we're going with this, right?
That's it. Yeah, you become a personal brand, and you kind of have this client attraction, as some people call it, where it's just like, I see your face freaking everywhere. Like, let's talk.
Yeah, and everybody started.
I was going to say, you get somebody like we were talking about earlier, Dan Henry, Alex Hermosi, you can name up dozens of other people in the ClickFunnels world that 3, 4, 5 years ago, we didn't know who they were. They didn't exist for nothings. And now these people are making millions, in some cases, hundreds of millions of dollars. And it's because they got their face out there. But they started one day and said, okay, I'm going to put up a blog post every day, or I'm going to do a podcast every day, or I'm going to do a video every day. And it's one after another. It's the old, rolling down the hill, the big snowball rolling down the hill. It picks up steam as it goes along, and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And it grows exponentially over time as well. So you may be struggling for a year, beating your head up against the wall, thinking you're getting nowhere. And then all of a sudden, boom, $20,000 falls in your lap one month, and you go, huh, okay, so the last year wasn't it.
Yeah, it compounds, right? It's a compounding effect of all the things you do. It can be small things, but as long as you're consistent, it will build up, and it will add up on top of each other. And yeah,
So we see that little meme with the guys digging for the diamonds, and he turns around like
yeah, yeah.
5 inches before the breakthrough, right? And often people might be working and thinking, what is, the end result of this? I'm not seeing it right now. But if you are consistent and you are delivering that value, somebody's always watching, and somebody's always got it in the back of the mind. Oh man, this is the person to help me. Time is super important when you're building these things. And as you start to build your momentum, you start to get those first few clients, make sure you get those testimonials, make sure you get the feedback, ask them, how did I do? How did this work for you? And make sure you celebrate the results. But I think we're at a point now where we know we can position in groups. We know that we can get ourselves in the marketplace. We can go and be certified as well. And as we're live, I've just heard from Lee. He will be joining us hopefully on day 5 of this series as well. So hopefully Lee will show a little bit more behind the scenes from the marketplace. But Susan's buzzing right now, right? She's got the insight, she's got the information, she's got a list of potential folks she wants to work with. She's got a funnel hub bubbling in the background. She's starting getting people on the phone. And one of the next questions she's kind of brought to us is, man, I gave somebody a price and they went all weird on me, and they were like, that's like, I need to go and talk to my husband. I need to go and do some thinking. I'm not quite sure if I can afford this right now. And there was these crazy objections that she wasn't expecting, because she was like, man, I'm good at this stuff and I've been increasing my prices and everybody else is happy, and I've tried to price this right, and somebody's like had this weird objection. What's the thoughts that we could share with Susan? Because ultimately you are going to get these objections, but I think that they can be overcome, right? And if you do that, then you can still close the deal and you can still make that ground. But I think it'd be important for folks on this journey to kind of understand a little bit about that. When you start to get these regular conversations and you're trying to raise your prices to earn what you should be charging, you are going to run into customers who are, they come with this thing. What would you say? Is she working with the wrong people, or is there more to it? James is nodding and smiling.
For sure. My first question.
I'll let James go first, yeah, because my answer you're not going to like. So go ahead, James.
My first question was: are they, they may not be the right customer for you. If they're price resistant, then they may. I've entered into relationships where there's price resistance. I've met them where they were, and it was like dragging a boat anchor the whole time. So like they just might not be the right customer for you, and they might be the better customer for someone else. That's the first thing. But also I'd say, if you're price resistant, but you believe in me and you're willing to do what I say, how about we do half up front, half it on completion? That's one kind of easy way to do it. And then the other thing is like, if all this did for you was X, would it be worth it to you? That's the kind of trick you can use.
And that's straight out of Expert Secrets, right,
Yeah.
Jem?
Yeah.
And Russell Brunson's teachings. Dan, I know we had some crossover in this.
Well, there's a whole bunch of thoughts I have. Is first off, if you're having troubles dealing with people and their objections, now I'm gonna Tommy Hopkins wrote a book back in the 70s. I forget the name of it even. He wrote enough of real estate books, but there's one book where it's basically every single thing that you should say based upon every single objection possible. And I remember talking to guys back in those days, back in the 80s and whatnot, and they're impossible to talk to because everything you say, boom, they hit you with the answer to the objection, and they hit you again, and they hit you again. And luckily, you don't see people doing that too much anymore because it's really annoying from the consumer standpoint, and also trying, the person doing it. It's just creepy. It's slimy. I don't like it. One thing I would say to somebody, first off, don't be talking to somebody who isn't 100% sold on your services, because you're wasting your time. But the other thing you can say is, let's say they do have a money objection, and it's a real money objection. Most of the time it's a fake money objection. They're just trying to screw you down on the price and get it for lower. But it's a real simple question is, okay, great. I said we're going to do this and this and this and this and this, and it's $5,000. You only have $3,000. Okay, you tell me, what should we take off the list? and then just shut up. Oh, no, I need all of it. Okay, well, in order to give you all of it, I have to do this and this and this and this and this, and I have to hire this person and this person and this person and this person. So, okay, then it's $5,000. Sign here. Oh, I don't have the money. Okay, next. I mean, don't be afraid to tell people to go away, because the truth is they'll come back.
I think it's important, Dan, to kind of just summarize what you were saying is you got to qualify your prospects, right? You got to make sure that they fit at least some of your requirements. And so I know that in sales, there's many different ways to do that. But on the web, there's funnels, right? There's funnels where you can have an application, and there's surveys and things like that. And also on a page, you can actually just list the answers to the objections right on a sales page or right on an opt-in page, so that people know, okay, oh, I don't have to worry about this. Oh, okay, it's affordable, right? So all of the objections can be listed somewhere. You just gotta find out where, and maybe in multiple places. But yeah, so important. You don't want to get stuck working with someone that doesn't know how to turn on the computer yet, or is still trying to figure out their Android. They may need to get help from somebody else.
Yeah,
Well,
and
I'll tell you, you have to realistically look at it at some point and say, okay, how am I going to structure my business so that the people coming to me are the people I want coming to me? And it was what was it, December of 1998. I remember sitting in an office by myself between mortgage companies, because I was moving from one to another, and I was sitting there with a tablet of paper. It was like Christmas Day. I had no family, I had no life, I had no nothing. And I took out this tablet of paper and I wrote down on it, who do I know, or who can I get to know who can refer me business? And the answer was very clear, very quickly. It was attorneys. And I structured my business over the next 10 years to do exactly that, to work only with attorneys and have them refer me business that already came to me saying, please help. And that's the kind of people, by giving results in advance, by having the testimonials, by doing good for other people, you will build that business, and you will get to the point where you're not going to have people asking questions anymore. How many people do you think, when Russell says, hey, do you want to join the inner circle? How many of them say, Russell, I do, but I only want to pay you $10,000. I don't want to pay the $50,000 like everybody else is. I'm just going to pay you 10. Okay. How long do you think Russell's going to stay in that conversation? Probably not long. I could be wrong. I don't know Russell. So
no, and the way it's so, I was going to say that with some different words. So the way magnetic marketing works, right, is you attract the right people. But like by doing all the stuff we're talking about in this meeting, you will attract only the people that you gave them results in advance, that they see themselves working with you or you working for them, right? Oh, this guy can build my funnel. Because remember, right, whoever needs a funnel, uh, like has a dream or has a need or both, right? So they want to fulfill that need, or they want to fulfill following that dream hard by going all in on funnels, right? And oh, this guy, I look him. I'm gonna see. Let's say I'm gonna see the. I need a linchpin, right? We launched the linchpin book 2 weeks ago. I need a linchpin, right? And now you in the group you see James talking about the linchpin, breaking up the linchpin, giving you tips and tricks. Okay, so now I know I need that. And then before talking to James, um, you you go to the marketplace, and then you see James linchpin strategy call there, right? Which we can show at the end of the call, right? But you see them there. Oh, okay, so James is everywhere. I read the book. I saw the James's little bit of training for free in the. Now I know he knows what he's talking about, and that's what I need, right? So results in advance, right? I need that. I need that. I need that, and you're there, right? So that's you end up selling without selling, right? And people will raise their hand, like when Russell does it from, from the stage, and people just run to the back and sign up, right? So it's kind of the same in a different setting, in a different dramatic demonstration, but you do the dramatic demonstration in pieces by creating content and being, omnipresence in a way.
It's so good, the content that's coming out over these sessions, because it is sort of helping anybody who's kind of stuck to overcome some of the things they might be facing right now, some of the things that they might be thinking. And obviously it's not like the easiest thing in the world, but it's not too overcomplicated either, is it really? It's like, position yourself in the right places, give the good quality content, be super helpful, make sure you're specific on who you want to actually work with, and you can actually deliver the service. And you're starting to build the framework of something that's going to last you for a long time. It's going to work. It's going to keep working. It's going to be able to scale. And I noticed when Dan was talking just now, you wrote on a piece of paper at a very like low point, right? You said you were sat there, it was like Christmas Day, and you writing this stuff down to try and move forward. And you built this thing over 10 years, right? There's so many people underestimate the importance of time in your business, because sometimes you can watch some crazy webinar or whatever it is, the one that will remain nameless from the weekend, and you think, whoa, I want to be like that dude. And tomorrow I'm going to go and do a webinar, but you're not going to turn on with 500,000 people on different screens plugged in from all over the world just to fund Zoom to run that conference. That ain't like $50, right? That's not like a monthly subscription. You need some crazy software, and it's always like, you need a production crew, but you actually need to plan this stuff. And that was a long time in the making. And if you get that into your mind, that this is not going to be massive to start with, give yourself room to grow, you can achieve anything you want. And you're doing that over time. But people, I think, sometimes they want everything real quick. And then just like the guy digging for the diamonds, they're like, man, I'm going to try something else. But if you've got that consistency, you build it over time, and you are so focused and well positioned, it's like, now we're moving. You start to see the results, and results will generate more results, right? Is that like, if I was Susan, I'd be super excited. I'd be like, whoa, I get it. People watching right now in the comments, you're live or on the replay, and you've watched the last couple of days, can you see how like powerful this is? I'm seeing it, Andy, and everybody's kind of nodding and agreeing and stuff on the stream right now. But we live and breathe this stuff, right?
Right.
Dan?
Well, one thing is, we're telling people, we got expect there to be time before the real money is going to start coming in, but that doesn't mean that there's going to be a whole bunch of time before you get your first client. Mm-hmm. But there's also something you have to think about here, and I keep using the term results in advance, and because I really love that term. But it's not just results in advance for, let's say, an individual person, it's for your business in general. You have to create results for a single person to start with. You have to have results for one person. That is your first client. That is patient zero. And you give them results, and then you can grow on that. Well, how do you get that first client? You have no results at this point. You have no track record. You have no testimonials. You have no referral sources. You have nothing. Guess what? You might be doing that first one for free. And you might be doing the second one for free too.
First 5,
and then
probably.
the next you charge $500, and then $1,000, and then $2,000, and then $20,000. That's how this starts off. You can't. There was somebody I saw posting in one of our groups the other day, and it's basically, how can I make $2,000 by this weekend? Well, I don't know, because I don't know where you are or what you're doing or any of your background or anything else. You have to start somewhere. So now if you have a business going already, you're not going to ask that question, how do I make $2,000 by this weekend? You're only going to ask that question if you got absolutely nothing going. And the sad truth is you're probably not gonna, because you haven't built up the business, the record, the referral sources. You haven't built up any of that at this point, and you have to do that by working for free to begin with.
You can't really get around building experience, right? You need to have the experience. And I mean, for example, when sometimes I had professors in school and college, or teachers that were very knowledgeable, but they didn't actually work in that field, right? And that's a really good example of someone that won't be able to give you the details, the little small little things that comes with experience. So yeah, you definitely have to have experience, but if you put in the work, and like we mentioned already, you might even have to do a couple of funnels for free the first time. But guess what? Those people are going to be so appreciative. They're going to start recommending you. You have experience now. You have a base point of what you want to charge, what you want your work to be, to bring you. So yeah, there's just no way around getting experience. You can learn a lot, but you're going to have to put in some work to be able to get the reputation and the experience.
I heard a counselor one time say, you can't jump to the end of healing. And I think it's the same with business. You can't jump to success. You have to build to success. James?
And you do that by building a lot of funnels. And I've been like looking for opportunities to get back to the certification, because I think it's such a fantastic resource. When it comes to confidence in a sales call or dealing with objections and things, knowing that you can deliver the results helps a lot with that. Because sometimes it's just your posture, your attitude, right? You were talking, Andy, about, learning is one thing, but getting the experience is another. Totally agree with that. But you got to learn, and there are many places you can learn from. I'm here to tell you that I was in the 2 Comma Club X coaching program for like a year. And then they added this funnel builder certification. And I was so freaking jealous about all the stuff. And I hadn't even seen it yet. But I want it so bad. I'm like, I'm not paying for them. I'm already paying for this. Then they included it in to CCX, and I got in, and I was freaking blown away, because the structure of this program is incredible. There's like a strategy, then a tactics, and then a copywriting section for every funnel type across the board. And the strategy is literally Russell freaking Brunson going through like the history of like, before this funnel existed, this is what we did. When this funnel first came out, this is how it was. This is what we're doing now. Here's the control of what's currently working. Here are the different optional parts. And he's going through, like, it's like having, I don't know, it's like having the funnel god just like bestow this information to you. And it's the most in-depth training that you could imagine for the strategy and the theory behind, and like the psychology behind it, the position behind it. And then you get like 20 videos step-by-step of how to build it exactly in ClickFunnels Classic, in ClickFunnels 2. And then you get a masterclass by Jim Edwards on how to write the copy for it. If you don't know what you're doing, this is the best way to know what you're doing.
Yeah, it's not a cheap program, but it is without a doubt the best program ClickFunnels has ever put out. And it's not that, it's also all the support. 4 or 5.
Oh, I forgot about the community. You're right. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, the circle community, 4 or 5 2-hour calls every single week. It's like I said, it ain't cheap, but it's been worth every penny to me.
Yeah, if you stay on it, if you are consistent, if you really believe in this and you're like kind of committed to doing this for a year, it will definitely pay for itself. If you put in the time, the resources are there. Everyone there wants you to win. It's like the best. It's the best thing. It is the best program that ClickFunnels has put out. And we're not ClickFunnels like people, but like I've bought a bunch of stuff from ClickFunnels. This is the most impactful thing that I've done, 100%.
Yeah, and you get special treatment in the marketplace because of it. And I think you guys were maybe going to show that.
Without a doubt. And
Hugh, Andy.
Yeah.
I tried to.
We have got a
there you go.
Stream from Andy. I've got the buttons. But James, up in lights on the screen, because this is real, right? We've not just drafted in like just a random bunch of folks out the Facebook group. This is like you guys are living this stuff, breathing this stuff, working with clients, doing the thing. You're on the marketplace, you're giving the value, you're out there, you're doing it. It's like this is what people could aspire to be. This is Susan sat there like, whoa, where do I sign? Like, what do I do to get into this thing? Do I need to go to Funnel Hacking Live? Do I need to like fill in some stuff? What do I need to do? And all of that will be revealed hopefully by the end of the week, and how you can get in. And we've got Lee, and we've got hopefully Greg possibly will be able to join us. And Carlos and I, we had some fortunate pleasure to go and work with some of the certified guys recently the other day, talking about how to be more active in the groups. And you've got people who get it and they're in there now and they're super active. And I'm sure there's people sat there who will probably still be on the fence for another few weeks. Maybe some people will never go and start that process. And I guess there will always be the folks who are all in. There's some folks who'll sit on the fence for a little while and then they'll be all in. And then there's some folks who'll take that a little bit longer. Ultimately, there'll always be some folks who never get round to doing it. And this, what you see on the screen right now, should be enough to push you over the edge and be like, right, I need to get moving with this business. And I understand that this could take a few months, a few years, but it's going in the right direction. And I know that if I'm consistent and well positioned in this marketplace, that there's probably a slice of the pie for everybody. But I've got to show up. I've got to put the work in. There's a lot of people don't want to do the work, right? They're just like, hey, I'm magic money. It doesn't happen, right? I'm going to put the work in.
Doesn't exist.
And it'll be consistent. But there's a big thing as well about asking for help, right, guys? And don't just be trying to do all this stuff on your own, because you guys mentioned the community just now, and we live and breathe the ClickFunnels community. This sort of concept of community, being able to ask for help and have the right people around you, is so important when you're setting out in business. I believe that. I don't know what.
Totally. It's one of the cool things about being a certified funnel builder is like there's a special section in the community for people that have achieved one certification, and people will go in there and say like, hey, this thing isn't converting so well. Can you guys help? And people will respond. And one guy recently, Cohen, who's been showing up a lot in the community here, he just gave this like masterclass like breakdown of the funnel, and super helpful. So there's a bunch of people that just want you to win in there. So it's a fantastic resource.
Amazing stuff.
I was going to say, on James's listing here, you can see the badges that you get. If you scroll down just a hair, Andy, you're going to see once you get your first badge, then you can use the certified funnel builder badge he has right there in the middle. But then he's also displaying 3 other badges that he has, and there's 18 total, right, James? And then as you get them, you notify the marketplace, and then they will populate them over in the right-hand side as well. So people can not only see that you're a certified funnel builder, they can also see which particular courses you went through as part of the process. But again, like we just said, is 18 different funnels, funnel types. There's for funnel flows, there's funnel hubs, there's membership sites. Everything you want to know about funnels, they teach you in that course.
And I think just looking at this from, Susan's perspective, you can instantly see the authority there, right? You've got the 5 stars, you've got the refund policy on there. You see that James is like got a green light next to him, which suggests he's online. I don't know if that's like talking to your Facebook right now or to like some messenger thing, but it looks like you're online. You've got that authority picture, you've got the badges on there, the trust seals, you've got all of this other content, which I guess folks can just watch and absorb and like download and see and interact with. Scroll down a little bit, you've got the big old description on there. It's like explaining all the things that are going on and how James can help. This is like, oh man, now you've been interviewed by ClickFunnels. Again, all of these things come down to your positioning, but it doesn't just happen, does it? You don't just wake up in the morning and like these things have appeared. You've got to record the video. You've got to take the screenshot. You've got to have the conversation. It's like, you've got to do the work. You've got to go through the modules. You've got to apply yourself. And I guess that's what sets the agencies apart from the good agencies, from the great agencies, from the ultimate, top of the chain, right? because wherever you are positioned in that, there's only really two ways you can go, right? You can go up and you can get better, or you can stop and like that's it. You don't go back down the ladder. You can stand on a snake as well, I guess, and go the wrong way. But if you're consistent and you're honest and you put in the work in, then I believe the only way is up. And you've got the 79% opt-in rate there, which is kind of like the holy grail for, you know, folks who want to launch a funnel, right? So you're like, oh, James is the man. And all of that is because you've done all of the things that we've spoke about. And there's a lot more other folks out there leveraging this right now. So powerful.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Let's bring it back to the screen. So we've covered a lot there, right? And I was like, whoa, we've covered a lot. Susan's off to sign up to the certified program. What happens if you can't sort of like become certified straight away and you are just starting out? We talked a little bit about the cookbook, and I know this has been waved around a little bit. Talk about the cookbook. Like,
here's one other thing realistically for people is, you know, you got to buy ClickFunnels no matter what, and you're going to spend a bunch of money on ClickFunnels, but they do have an excuse me, they do have an annual plan called the Funnel Builder Secrets plan, wherein you get a lot of the same training you get in the certification program, and you also get 1.0 and 2.0 for an entire year. And it's actually cheaper than if you were paying for 1.0 and 2.0 for that entire year, like a lot cheaper.
Yeah.
Plus a whole bunch of other training. So look into that Funnel Builder Secrets program, depending on, I won't quote a price, but yeah, it's a great program. It doesn't give you everything the certification gives you, but it gives you a lot of the training. So if all you're looking for is a training without the community, without the extra support and help, then it's where you can start. And then when you make some money, then upgrade to the bigger plan.
Yeah, it's a really good point. Carlos, he might be muted, but you know he's like, yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Like to everyone watching live right now or this recording, because this will be inside the app and everywhere. The first thing you need to do is like make the decision, right? Make the decision. Like Susan got proficient in something, got efficient in something, and now she can start offering it. And like Dan said, your first 1, 2, 3, 5 maybe customers, you can do them for free, right? Because in that you're investing your time and you're getting experience in return, right? Now you will know, okay, so it takes me this time to, do the strategy with the customer, and then it takes me this time to actually build the funnel, and then I have to hire a graphic designer because I'm not too good, right? And now okay, so my expenses come out of 20 hours of man hours, right? Time that I have to physically put into building the funnel, and plus $500 for the design, let's say, right? So now you know how to price your funnel by doing 5, 2, 3, 5, 1, even 1 free job for someone, and that can be as easy as doing it in your warm circle, right? You can put up a Facebook post, and if you are already generating content, you have people following you that will jump at the opportunity of you doing it for free for once, right? So that's really, really cool too. So just the decision to start and the decision to be consistent. I think those are the two points here, the main points of this call today. And I just want to thank Dan and James for all they're doing as ambassadors, and for being here sharing from experience, right? From experience, having that.
Carlos is like one of the warriors in the ClickFunnels Facebook group that helps moderate and make sure everybody's following the rules and getting along and stuff. And I'm sure that he's saying that out of appreciation, because in case anybody doesn't know, and I know that I'm going a little bit off track here, but our ambassadors are, they jump into the Facebook group. They help answer questions. They're doing what exactly what we're talking about here, right? To help people out, to make sure that people have a wonderful experience when they're using ClickFunnels 2.0. And so, yeah, I just want to repeat what Carlos said. Thank you guys for doing that. And also for anybody watching, if you're the type of person that loves helping, answering questions, thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, now I know that we've pretty much run out of time, Danny, but I was really excited about getting into the cookbook.
Yeah.
And do we have like a few minutes to go into that?
Yeah, and I know there's sites and things dotted around, and that's seemingly from a little while ago, right? But there is this thing that exists called the Funnel Cookbook, and it is available in various formats. And you can get this when you sign up for program that Dan just mentioned as well. You can use various challenges and things. And Carlos has got a bunch of links, right? We can drop a bunch of links to all of this stuff in the chat, and you can go and immerse yourself in these things, right? Because even if you just read one page and studied one funnel and got yourself the basics of some of these things, go and get the .com secrets, the expert secrets books, the traffic secrets that James is wafting around, the new linchpin book, right? All these things, we don't just get them and put them on the like the top of the cabinet, right? We're just like, these things are super important. Carlos has got these things like literally behind him, pinned to the wall right now. The trilogy. This stuff's like here for a reason. And like if you watch these Build a Business series and you just went and looked at some of the other stuff going on in the group and you just followed the guys that are on this screen right now, like, and just understood that one little thing is in your mind, you're like, oh, I could never do this. You can do this, right? I'm like, oh, right. But you've got to do something. And starting with the books and understanding, and just get that penny to drop. And once that happens, you too could be doing the, like Dan said earlier, what Dan Henry did, right? You started off with one little thing, and now you're there. And the folks who will remain nameless who did the webinar over the weekend, they didn't like appear like that, right? They started off somewhere, and now look, Russell Brunson. You can follow the story, and you can track that right back to the early days. Wasn't doing this then. And it's so powerful when you understand that you can unlock so much in your life and your business with these things that we're talking. We're just like, we're not recommending, we don't want the money. A lot of this stuff's free. It's like you can get this, just pay the shipping, or you download this, right? This is like a free download, Andy.
Yeah, so I was really excited about this, and you're right, Danny. There's so many different resources that you can get in the ClickFunnels world. We like to call it the Russell universe, right? The Russellverse. I mean, the book. First of all, the books are just genius because they take you from. I almost feel like it's the journey from going from a kid to an adult, right? because suddenly you're a kid and then you realize, oh my goodness, I'm getting older, right? And you read the first one, Expert Secrets, and then you get into .com Secrets. Actually, I don't remember which one is first, and then finally it's Traffic Secrets, and then this cookbook right here. This is free. You don't need to pay for it unless you want the physical book, which I don't have and I'm going to get. But the cookbook has basically a description of everything that should go into a funnel. It is so complete. There's over 300 pages. Okay, if you get the PDF, I don't know. I think probably yeah. Okay, it's pretty thick, even the physical copy. Yeah. So there's formulas for every single type of funnel that you can create. It categorizes them into like lead gen funnels and e-com funnels and all kinds of stuff. So yeah, what I'll do is I'll drop that into the comments for anybody that's watching this, because it is a great resource that you should definitely take advantage of.
Without a doubt. And look, the whole ClickFunnels universe, however we describe it, I came into this sort of like 2016-ish, and I had like this web hosting business, and the server like fried, and all of this stuff got deleted, and I had clients going crazy, and I was like, and I kind of understood the internet, and we used to like use Dreamweaver and like all kinds of crazy stuff to build websites for people. And I discovered ClickFunnels at the right time because it saved my business and saved my skin, and I was able to rebuild these things that have been deleted. And like my clients from back then, some of these guys are still using their ClickFunnels now. And every now and then I talk to some guys who are running nightclubs, some guys who are running e-com business, whatever. And they've been using ClickFunnels since I kind of put them onto it, because that was the only way out of the problem. And they're like, isn't it so easy? Doesn't it just get better? I'm so grateful that you introduced me to this thing. And they've been doing this stuff for years and just using it within their business. And then there's people who've taken that and they've used it to build their business and build businesses that are going out there and helping other people to do the same. And I've been fortunate enough to move through this sort of ClickFunnels journey. It's like my ClickFunnels journey, just like I know James and Dan and Carlos and Andy, everybody, we've all had this journey thanks to the man on the screen right now and Todd and everybody behind the scenes. But it is a journey and it will take you time. But if you don't take those first steps, you'll never know, right? You'll never know where that path leads. And we could probably have 1,000 people on here who would all sit there, just like James, just like Dan, everybody who's all the ambassadors, and just tell you like their perspective of why ClickFunnels has just been so impactful in their life, the business, for them, for the family. And if you're on the fence, man, you need to get off, get moving, let's go, let's get on this journey. And you've got so much help and support, whichever level you decide to come in at. Read a book, implement, and get moving. You know, and there's so many more things we've got planned for this alone, Andy, right? We could be here till Christmas and beyond, right? And round again to the next year.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. So we do have a couple more days. So if anybody wants to join us tomorrow, we're going to continue this journey. And then usually on Fridays, what we do is we get together with the ambassadors and recap and just kind of anything that we forgot to say or we thought was really important and we didn't say it. We'll kind of recap. We also take questions. So anybody that has a question, please don't hesitate to just drop it in the comments. Occasionally, we're all taking a look at the different comments in the Facebook group. So if you have questions, bring those, and hopefully we will see you tomorrow.
Yeah, thank you, because I know we're over time, and we're trying to stay on time, but we're in over. But that's because there's so much cool stuff to say. But we are back tomorrow same time. Thank you, everybody. Carlos, James, I know Dan had to go. He's got another appointment. He will be back very, very soon. And all our ambassadors, everybody supporting this, we can't thank you enough. We'll see everybody on the next show. Thanks so much, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.